So, in terms of who can join this course, it's open to absolutely anyone, anywhere in the world. But many students will complete our year one course, which is the Diploma in Silver Jewellery first. And this is the perfect follow on from that course. If you are joining later, I'll share a bit about this in the open day today. We do ask that you have completed most of the projects or similar projects from that course so that when we get started on this one, we're all starting from a similar level. But yes, this is the 1 year diploma in fine jewellery. So like I said, there's lots to get through. So I will go ahead and get started on the open day now. Please feel free to use the chat anytime if you have any questions, and I will try and get those answered for you too. Brilliant. Let's get into it. So what is the Diploma in Fine Jewellery? Well, it's 1 year to become a fine jeweler. That was our goal when we set out creating this course, is we'd already done 1 year to become a professional jeweler, which is learning all of the basics of silver jewelry making, of working in the workshop, creating basic engagement rings, wedding rings, like all these kind of staples that jewelers need to know to be able to run their businesses. But for those of us who love jewelry making, that is not enough. We want some more. And so this course really focuses on fine jewelry. So fine jewelry, the definition of fine jewelry is actually around the materials that you use. So it's to do with working with finer materials, such as gold, platinum, kind of, not silver, but kind of moving on to the more expensive metals, all different types of gold, white gold, yellow gold, different carats, but also working with precious gemstones rather than semi-precious. So technically, if you make anything in gold and using precious gemstones, you are a fine jeweler. But the way that it works is, generally speaking, if somebody wants you to make something in gold and using precious gemstones, is there's more complex techniques that are required. So that's why in our training, we kind of develop those skills, lots more stone setting skills, lots more fabrication skills to be able to make those kind of higher end commission pieces. And this course will be particularly beneficial for people who are wanting to start or grow a jewelry business making these fine pieces. So often when we start our jewelry business journey, we start off with making pieces, silver pieces, and quite maybe pieces that we could get from lots of different places, like stacking rings, spinner rings, pendants, shapes, things like that, which is a brilliant place to start. But for many jewelers, we want to develop and actually kind of create our own signature style and just get a bit more advanced with what we're able to offer our customers. So that's what this course was really aimed to do. So 1 year to become a fine jeweler, starting from an intermediate level. So you already have good groundings in your jewelry making ability, and we go through to really quite advanced by the end. But today I'm going to walk you through all the projects and how it all works. So anyone who's not met me before, hello and welcome. I'm Jessica Rose. I am the founder of Jewelers Academy. I have been making jewelry forever and absolutely love it. And I love teaching it as well. Jewelers Academy is an online community space where we have thousands and thousands of jewelers all over the world who learn jewelry making with us every year. And we're very much a community as well. So we support people in their building up their jewelry making skills, but also their business skills, and just kind of, getting involved in the industry. It's absolutely a wonderful community. So if you aren't involved already, I highly encourage you to sign up to like the Facebook groups and Instagram and things and just start talking to people, because there's so many incredible jewelers out there who want to help and support you on your journey as well. Before Jewelers Academy, I set up and run the London Jewelry School, which is what it sounds like. It was a jewelry training centre in London, which I ran for 13 years, and we taught, I think, around 40,000 students we worked out in that time, jewelry making techniques. And now we are setting up a training centre in Brighton in the UK as well. So everything we do is about supporting jewelers to be the best versions of themselves, and make jewelry making as accessible as possible to anyone, anywhere in the world. So you are in good hands. So quick question for anyone who is on live, or even if you're watching it back on the replay, if there's somewhere you can add it in. What one jewelry making technique would you like to learn next year? So if you could learn anything, what is like on your bucket list? I think for me, star setting is something I still want to master. I've learned it, but haven't practiced it enough to say, like, I've got it down. So next year I'm like, right, I'm gonna tackle it. I'm gonna make lots of pieces with stars in, and that's gonna be my thing. I mean, of course, it's nice to learn more than one technique a year, but it's always nice to have that one focus of like, okay, this is the one that I really want to learn. So if you feel confident enough to come and share, I would love to know kind of what's on your bucket list. So in the session today, we'll be covering what the diploma is, so kind of running through, especially for anyone who's not done a diploma with us before, how that works, the level of support available, because these diplomas are much more than an online course. They are highly supported, structured learning. We're going to run through the projects, which is perhaps the most exciting bit, is looking at all the pieces we're going to make. I'll talk a bit about the tutors and the tuition. And of course, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer those as well at the end. Brilliant. So we already mentioned it's a year-long program, so it's broken up into 3 terms. So the diploma starts in September. I know that seems like a long way away at the moment, but it's going to come around super quick, and we like to get organized and get all the tools and materials sorted and make sure we're all kind of ready to hit the ground running when it comes to September. And it runs through 3 terms, which roughly follow the school years here in the UK. So the first term is usually September to sort of end of November. Then we come back again in January, run until sort of Easter time. And then from Easter through to summer is the 3rd term. And if you have children or little ones at school, generally speaking, the holidays, you'll always be off, and we'll be making during those term times. And there's roughly 10 weeks in a term of practical making courses, and then there's some workshop weeks, and it's super flexible. So we recommend that you put aside 1 full day a week, but you can do that in any way you like. So you may say, okay, Wednesday is my diploma day, and I'm just going to make the pieces every Wednesday, or it might be that you do an hour each day throughout the week, or a couple of evenings. Some students will look at it all on Monday, like look at the content for an hour or so, and then make on the Tuesday. So if you are fitting it around a busy schedule, we totally understand. And it's something that you can really work with, whether you're working full time, or, you know, got people you're caring for, or just busy and tired, you can fit it in. So it's really flexible in that sort of way. It's for intermediate to advanced level jewelers, and we're starting at intermediate, kind of ending with advanced. And really, I'd say it's tailored towards jewelers looking to expand a business, take on high-end commission work, or perhaps you want to go and work in the trade and you just love to bring these skills to the businesses that you're going to be working in. I can see as well we've got a few comments. Linda says, hi Linda, welcome. I'd love to learn acid etching. That's an exciting one. Alex is looking forward to the fancy collet setting. Oh, I love a fancy collet, one of my favorite settings. Genevieve would like to learn engraving and beaded stone setting. Yes, it's similar to the star setting, the grains, the beads. And Sean would love to learn claw settings. Also love a claw setting. All the settings, we're here for all the settings. And some engraving, of course. And etching. So yeah, real nice mixture there. Do come and share if you're still here and you want to share any other bits and pieces. So this is the first the first diploma in fine jewellery at all that I'm aware of. And it's all online, it's all remote. So like I said, you know, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can get involved, which is awesome. We have a really amazing community. We also provide a complete material kit, which I highly recommend getting, because this will give you all the materials that you need to make all the projects. So it saves you tons of time. We don't add on cost to these kits, so we don't make any sort of money from it. It's just literally collating the materials that you need and sending them to you. We don't provide a toolkit for this course because most jewelers by this stage have already got a lot of their tools, but there is a list of additional tools that you'll need on top of the diploma in silver jewelry tools. So I definitely recommend checking out that list and just making sure that you've got everything you need. The main thing I would say, the main addition, if you're coming from the silver diploma, we work a lot with hand tools, saws, torches, hammers, all the basic setup that you're going to have at home or in a workshop. And the main addition I would say that we recommend getting is a pendant motor of some sort, and ideally with a hammer hand piece on the end, because we're going to be doing the collet setting, and it's just a lot easier with that. You can do it without that, it is possible, but that's the kind of additional recommendation that we have. And Anna Campbell, who is our community manager, has just posted a link in the chat for the tools and materials, so you can go ahead and check them out. But yeah, my recommendation would be order the material kit from us, buy any additional tools you need, and you've got until September to do it, so you've got time, and then you'll be all set and ready to go. And everything that you need for this course are the things that you're going to need for making fine jewelry. So we would never ask you to buy something that you're not really going to use again. We think very thoughtfully and hard about what investments we're asking you to make, but to have a pendant motor as a jeweler is just, you're just going to want one. It's going to be useful for so many things. So if you don't have one already, that's definitely a good one to add to the list. So let's talk a little bit about how we're going to learn throughout the program. So we have weekly lessons. So each week you're delivered a professionally filmed lesson of jewelry making, and it will follow a program. So I'll run through the curriculum in a little bit, and you'll get lifetime access to those. So once you've completed the week, you'll be able to go back as many times as you like. So we don't give you them all at once, because if we gave you weekly lessons for the whole year at once, it'd be quite overwhelming. But every Monday, first thing in the morning, the lessons are uploaded, and you can go ahead and check them out, watch them. You've got the whole week to kind of work through. And like I said, because you have lifetime access, if you can't do it that week for whatever reason, you're away, you're ill, whatever life gets in the way, you can always catch up. So they are, like I mentioned, they're professionally filmed courses. I'd say they're roughly an hour long each. They do vary in length. Some of them are shorter, some of them are longer, depending on the projects. For the Fine Jewellery Diploma, some projects last a couple of weeks. So if it's something that's going to take you more than a day to do, like 2 or 3 days to do, we would let you kind of work on that for a few weeks. So it's not every single week, but generally speaking, most weeks there will be a new program to work through. Then alongside that, you have PDF downloads with every lesson, so that we can really show you things in a different way. People like to learn in lots of different ways. So the PDF downloads are great for just reading and kind of following instructions along with the videos too. Then each fortnight you'll have a group Zoom. So these are brilliant for being involved in the community. So we very much feel that just giving you modules and saying off you go, it's not enough. And for you to feel part of something, to have interaction with others who are doing the course at the same time, it's really going to supercharge your learning, your motivation, all of those things. So the fortnightly group Zoom calls are really important for this. You'll be put into a small group of around 15 or so of you, and you'll meet each fortnight with a tutor, with a mentor, and you just get to know each other, and you have a chat about the course. How's it going? Invariably, we end up talking about tools, gemstones, all the fun things, but also anything you're struggling with or anything you need help with, you could go ahead and ask your mentor in there, because they will be there to offer that a kind of expert guidance. So as well as that, so you've got your weekly lessons, which you'll work through on your own, the fortnightly kind of socials / technical Zoom calls. Then you will be assigned an individual mentor. So this is something that I love about the diploma programs. You'll never feel alone, because you will have your own mentor, and you'll meet with this mentor 6 times throughout the year. 3 of those will be sort of in the middle of each term. So after you've done sort of 5 or 6 little chunks of work, you'll be able to meet with your mentor, and you can ask them questions, and they'll ask you questions. How's it going? What are you getting on with? Are there any things you're struggling with? And you can ask them about, how are you doing it? Are there any sort of tips that you can share? How are you running your business? All these kind of things. And we really want it to feel like you're with someone who, in the olden days, you'd do an apprenticeship and you'd kind of be next to a jeweler. And now life has moved on, the technology has moved on, and things are different, but we want you to really feel like you're part of something. And I think the one-to-one relationship with the mentor, as well as the group Zooms, really helps with that. So you'll have 3 midterm sessions, and then you'll have one end of term session, which will actually be at the start of the next term, which is for your marking. I'll share a bit more about marking in a bit, but essentially at the end of each term, you send your work to us, to our warehouse in London. We get it to your mentor and they will have it in front of them so they can see it and feel it and look at it, and they will be able to give you feedback on how it's going. So for example, if it was this ring, they might say, oh, you've done a really beautiful job, you know, the solder joints are really clean, the setting's really beautiful, but also if there's anything you could do to improve it, they'll give you that advice, and that really helps in terms of your growth as a jeweler, having that personalized feedback. Then, of course, there is the Jewellery Diploma Facebook group. This will be Fine Jewellery Diploma students only, and only people working through it at the same time as you. And this is your kind of place to go night and day, 24/7, and share how you're doing with your jewellery making, share what's going well, things that are not going so well, any tips that you've learned, any things that you're struggling with and you need help with. And all of your fellow students will be in there. And it's really such a wonderful place because as soon as anyone has a question, everyone kind of rushes and says, oh, have you tried this? What about this? So there's so much learning that happens inside the Facebook group. So we are super proud as like, you know, an educational establishment, I suppose, that we have all these layers of ways to support people, and the results speak for themselves. Our students do incredibly well with completing the program, passing the program, and going on to do amazing things in their lives and their businesses as well. So a quick recap on how you learn. You'll have the weekly lessons with the notes. It's all professionally filmed from different angles, so you can really see what's going on, and lifetime access to all of those. So you can go back and make something in a few years that you've not made for ages if you'd like to. Then every 2 weeks, you'll have your Q&A sessions with your mentor where you can kind of get that accountability and support and community around your learning. Then your one-to-ones, one in the middle of each term, plus a marking one once we have marked your work. These are all done on Zoom, so you can select the time. Your mentor will open up a calendar and you can go in and just select what dates and times will work for you. And we are used to different time zones for people all over the world. So don't worry, we can find a time that it's not 5 in the morning for you. So you can come and be sharp. And then, of course, the Diploma Facebook group, which is staffed Monday to Saturday. We let them have a day off on Sunday. So that is staffed by Jewellers Academy team, so we can be there to help answer any questions and support you guys. And we do things like regular check-ins, and just kind of ways to get you engaged and feel supported from the whole community. So that's how it kind of works. And then let's have a look at some of the mentors and the tutors on this program. We kick off with the wonderful Hayley Kruger. Me and Hayley have worked together, I think, for more than a decade now, and she is honestly the most amazing person and tutor rolled into one. You can see one of her beautiful pieces there. She is brilliant at stone setting. She's wonderful at goldsmithing, but she's also just an incredible tutor. And Hayley teaches quite a few of the courses on the Fine Diploma. And she has a very accessible style. She's very patient with people, and she's just very encouraging. And I know a lot of previous students have really enjoyed learning from her and being mentored by her. She actually has her own jewelry training school as well, where she is based, and she works a lot on one-off commissions, kind of with clients, creating engagement wedding rings, bespoke pieces. So an incredible person to learn from. Then we have the wonderful April Dace. April is still fairly new to the team, which is really exciting. She's been with us maybe a couple of years now, and she's actually taught one of the masterclasses. We have a series of masterclasses which is aimed at kind of advanced jewelry level, and she's taught one of those, which is incredible. So we've done some filming together, and yeah, again, just another incredible jeweler and teacher, very passionate about passing on her skills. She's worked for more than a decade in the trade. She worked in jewelry shops doing lots of repairs, and you learn so much doing repairs. And you can see just one of her beautiful pieces there with cluster of diamonds, lots and lots of stone setting. So another incredible fine jeweler to learn from. Then we have the wonderful Barbara Yard. Barbara is all about the gold. She loves working in gold, and you can see a couple of her rings there. She likes using texture, and just, yeah, just loves the metal, as well as lots of stone setting. So Barbara teaches the first course actually on this program, and is, again, has a really clean teaching style, very easy to follow along with. I think something that I love about all of the mentors and tutors is that they break down something that looks really difficult and challenging into a manageable steps, and that means that we can follow along and learn with them. Then, of course, the wonderful Anelia Caprina. Anelia has taught lots of classes for us over the years. You can see some of her beautiful work there. Another incredible fine jeweler, very good at very detailed work, incredible at every stone setting that I ask her to do, and just another lovely, very supportive person. So they are just a handful of the people you'll learn from. I think one of the amazing things with our programs is you get such an array of different tutors and mentors, so you will learn so many different ways of doing things, which, you know, is awesome. Then we have the wonderful Michael Malloy, last but not least. Now, Michael has done some really cool work. He does a lot of work with kind of high fashion, like models, shows, music videos, all of that kind of thing. So it's interesting to see where the jewelry can take you. And you can see one of his beautiful pieces on the catwalk here, which is kind of like a scaled down, humongous necklace. So Michael encourages students to work with scale in a different way, to kind of explore how metal and other materials can be used. He also is a brilliant design mentor, so he's, you know, excellent at kind of encouraging people around their design skills, and just so much he has to bring. And again, me and Michael have worked together for a long time, so a really incredible team there. So we spoke a bit about what skills you need before you start this course. Now, if you are on, or you have done in the past, the diploma in silver jewelry, you are perfect for this program, because we literally made it for you. And don't worry if you feel like you're not that far into that and you've got to make a decision about this one, because it really is the natural follow on. So, you know, I know some students worry, oh, maybe I'm not going to be good enough, but if you will be good enough by the end of the silver diploma, you will be good enough to do the fine 100%. You know, that's the natural progression. If you are coming to us and you've done jewelry making before, and you've looked at the silver diploma and you feel like, actually, I've done a lot of that, or maybe all of it, then you might choose to join us at this stage. So we want to make sure that you feel confident in these skills before you start. So in terms of stone setting, you need to feel confident doing cabochon settings, tube settings, flush settings, to be able to do a round collet on your own confidently, and also to do a basic floor setting. In terms of soldering, you should be able to solder a minimum of 3 solder joints in a piece confidently. And then, of course, all of the general fundamental skills of soaring, filing, polishing, and knowing your way around a jewelry workshop. And that is because we won't go back and cover any of those things. We will assume that you know it, because we want to move forward and there's lots more to learn. Also, to have some experience of wax carving, so to have done at least a beginner's level course in wax carving before joining the fine is important. All right, let's have a look at the curriculum. Are you guys still with me? Come and let me know in the chat if you can, if you're still here. It's a lot of information to take in, I know, but I'm excited to share the curriculum with you. So, Genevieve's here. Awesome, Genevieve. Love that. Term 1. So we start off with a fun project, which is the Reticulation and K&B week. So it's not easy, but it's a nice gentle way to ease into the fine diploma. So you're going to learn reticulation, which is the process of heating up metal to create texture on the top. It's a really beautiful process, especially if you like slightly more rustic and textured pieces rather than all just straight clean lines. And we're also going to learn K&B, which is the process of using heat and pressure to add a thin layer of high carat gold onto a piece. So it's different to plating, it's thicker than a plating, and it's a wonderful way to start bringing in gold to your work, or like an more affordable way to bring gold into your work, and also just create some really beautiful results. So you'll be making a pair of stud earrings and a ring with your reticulation and K&B to kick us off. Then we move swiftly into claw setting. So you'll have a claw setting practice week. So this is a week where you'll be making 4 different types of claw setting, but you don't need to make anything from it unless you want to. So you'll have a go at making a round one, an oval one, a pear, and a cushion cut. And we just want to see like your experiments with that because it takes a little bit of practice. And then following on from that week, we continue with the claw setting project, which is a 2-clawed dangly earring. So you can choose the shapes, you can choose the colors, but we want to see that you can do those claws and set the stones, but also the jump rings in between and kind of how to construct a whole piece. So it's a great way to start exploring different shaped claw settings. Then week 4, which I absolutely love, I love a pear-shaped collet. You will learn how to make and set a pear-shaped collet, which can be made into a ring or a pendant. So yeah, working with a pear cut fancy stone, learning how to create that shaped collet and how to create that beautiful setting. Quite challenging when you've not done it before, but a really beautiful skill to start mastering. And then we quickly step it up a notch where we're going to be exploring different types of collet settings, and we make a totem pendant. So you'll learn how to do a square, an oval, and you've already done a pear. And also, again, learning how to link the pieces and turn it into a finished piece. Because I think it's great to learn a stone setting, but sometimes you learn it and you think, okay, but how do I incorporate this into something that I can actually wear? So the totem project is lovely for that. Then we have a little bit of a break from the stone settings. We will have done a lot and spend a week painting fine jewelry, which is a process called rendering. Now, this is really lovely if you are working on people and doing one-off commissions and you want to showcase your designs. Learning the process of rendering is a really beautiful way to be able to, especially for pieces that are more expensive, maybe are going to cost thousands of pounds, you and the client might want to see a visual representation of that before you go ahead and make that piece. So this is just kind of like a fun way to explore rendering for a week or so, and that's taught by Anelia. It's a really beautiful course. Then this is a brand new course for the year that you are joining, so we're excited to have it. And this is, again, we love the claw settings. It's exploring claw settings even further. So this is creating what's called a double gallery claw setting. So what that is, if you look closely at the pictures, the galleries are the bits underneath the stone that kind of let the light in. And if you have one thick gallery, it doesn't let so much light in. But if you have 2 galleries, like in this, which we call a double gallery, it lets more light into the stone. It reflects more, makes it shinier, and also it adds some more detail to the piece. And for you as a jeweler, learning how to do these more complex settings is really going to put you in good stead for whatever you make in the future too. This is taught by master stone setter Scott McIntyre, who is a famous and incredible tutor. So lots of students love learning from him. So it's always a fun week to explore too. Then we have the gemstone masterclass. So this isn't a making week, it's more of a theory week about gemstones. So one of our wonderful tutors, Fiona, who runs her own jewelry business and is actually a professional stone cutter as well, and has done lots of training with the GIA and all the kind of professional qualifications. She's teaching us about gemstones. So as a fine jeweler, it's important that we know as much as we can about gemstones because we need to advise our clients. And also when we're making, we need to understand, okay, which stones are going to work well with which settings, the hardness, the softness of the stones. The more information that we know about the gemstones, the better we're able to serve our customers and understand what they need. So this is a really fun week, and we do a little quiz at the end to kind of test your gemstone knowledge, and just a lovely kind of addition to the Fine Diploma. Which brings us towards the end of term 1. At the end of each term, you'll have a workshop week, which is time to kind of quickly finish off any bits and pieces, get them all ready to be shipped off and sent to us for marking. And you'll also have a jewelry business Q&A session, this is just to really keep on top of our businesses as you're working through the diploma. And we tend to talk about topics that are more specific to fine jewelry, such as how to price fine jewelry, how to sell fine jewelry, and yeah, how to, different avenues that you can look at when you move from sort of general jewelry selling into fine jewelry selling, because there's some unique sort of challenges to look at there. Then we move on to term 2. So we kick off with some wax. So this is called advanced stone setting and wax, and you will learn a couple of different stone setting types, including how to do a parve-like stone setting in wax and also a channel-like setting, which you can see here, as well as some granulation setting. So it's good fun. We have a couple of weeks together. We do lots of stone setting and wax. These are cast in place pieces. So it's up to you whether or not you want to get them cast after marking. But just a really lovely course to be able to explore different techniques that you could use to do your stone setting in the wax. Then we have the tennis bracelet week. So this is actually 3 weeks because to make a tennis bracelet takes a long time. But this is a really fun project. It's kind of like it's a very classic kind of jewelry piece to make, a tennis bracelet. And whilst you may not make tons of tennis bracelets in your jewelry career, there's so many skills packed in here that are going to move you forward as a jeweler. And I think showing that you can make one is a brilliant thing to showcase to your customers and potential new clients as well. So you'll learn a couple of different ways that you can make the tennis bracelet. You'll learn the stone setting. You'll learn how to create the movement in the different pieces. So looking at kind of riveting, soldering, there's a few different ways to do it. And you can make the full bracelet, which lots of students have, but you can also do 6 links. We want to see a minimum of 6 links. And we want you to do some stone setting, but if you make the whole piece and you set a few of them, you can also, if you want, get a setter to set the rest, because most jewelers would make this and send it to a setter. So they're things we can talk about in the program as well, is what bits make sense for you to do and what bits you might outsource. Some jewelers will do everything, but the majority of jewelers will do the mount making and then get a setter to do the setting. Now you may fall in love with stone setting and think, but I want to be the setter that does the setting, in which case that's awesome too. So you start to work out who you are as a jeweler, what areas you want to focus on. Do you want to do everything? Do you want to outsource some things? And if so, what are they? So it's quite an interesting project from that perspective as well, but a really nice kind of technical piece to get your claws into. Brilliant. Then maybe my favorite project. Oh, I don't know. I've got some other favorites. I have lots of favorite projects. I know it kind of defeats the term favorite, but can't help it. But one of my favorites is the Marquise 5 stone set ring. So this is the first time that we're setting a Marquise stone. I absolutely love Marquise stones. You've got a couple of weeks on this one as well, because it is a bit more advanced. So you'll learn how to create the setting for the Marquise stone. It's like almost like a boat setting with V claws at the top and bottom. You'll also learn how to do the tube setting either side. You'll have done tube setting before, but how to kind of position it all and create a finished band. And this could easily be a special engagement band or a special kind of cocktail ring. So a lovely one to develop those stone setting as well as fabrication skills here too. Then we move on to something a little bit different. Week 9 is the box clasp. So this is an advanced technique for jewelers. So a box clasp is, you probably will have seen one before, especially if you have any sort of old school jewelry, especially they used to put it on pearls. So if you had like a big pearl strung necklace, you'd usually wouldn't want to put a little lobster clasp or a bolt ring clasp on there, but you might go for a box clasp. And there's kind of like a click when it goes in. So it's a very satisfying kind of way of making a clasp. There's a few different types that are shown here, but you will learn how to create the different corners to be able to line it all up, to create the springing action so that it can kind of the mechanism that will fit in and come out. And it's just really lovely as a fine jeweler to be able to do these more bespoke elements, I think, so that you're not necessarily adding on short bolt findings or things that don't quite work with what you're doing. You know, if you've done a beautiful claw set bracelet or necklace, then it might be really worth the time spending to create a beautiful box clasp for it as well. Then we move on to the Creole earrings. So these earrings are hinged. So you'll learn how to create the hinge mechanism. You'll actually learn two different types of creole earrings, these ones and some other ones that hinge halfway through the middle. For your marking, you'll only need to make these ones, but there are sometimes kind of bonus and additional bits of content we put into the diplomas to say, you know, if you've got time and you want to make more, go for it, or if not, come back and join this later because it's a really fun project. So you'll learn about twisting the wire, and yeah, creating the kind of the hinge mechanism, which is really helpful for very popular hoop earrings. And then we go into our workshop week, another business Q&A to wrap up term 2. Then we move on to term 3, where we are getting involved with our gravers and learning some more micro stone settings. So weeks 1 and 2 are all about using the gravers and star stone setting. So the gravers are obviously very sharp, so we spend a little bit of time kind of working with them, doing some practice squares, which are just sort of squares of copper where you just go over and over again setting setting lots of little stones, and then you can make it into a bangle, you can make it into a pendant, and really kind of hone that star setting skill. Just think it's such a beautiful, simple setting, and with stars you're sort of using the gravers to create a grain, sometimes to create a design element where there isn't a grain on some of the kind of spikes that come off, but in between creating a grain that then sits over the stone and holds it in place. So a beautiful, simple setting for fancy cut stones. Then we move on to locket making. So if you did the diploma in silver jewelry, you will have worked with hinges a little bit before, but we're making a full 3D locket in this case. A nice, clean, simple locket. You can add any textures or details that you like. So again, learning how to work with the construction, the different measurements, fitting one side into the other. You could put a picture into these lockets or something else if you wanted to. And of course, exploring that kind of quite delicate hinge, the jump ring, and kind of completing the piece. So another nice technical project to kind of move your skills on in that way. Now, this may be my favorite. All the rings with the big stones in, they're always my favorite. I actually think this is lots of people's favorite on the Fine Diploma, because there's something about this piece that once you've done all of that work, kind of just ties everything together and you just make something really beautiful. So this is your statement fine jewelry diamond cluster ring. Now, we're not working in diamonds because of the cost, but you could work in diamonds and it will be awesome. So what we're doing here is you'll learn to do a claw setting in the middle, which is the round central stone. Then you have this kind of floral design, which is on the front and also on the back. So you've got kind of like a back plate, back bezel, which is really beautiful. And then surrounded by this cluster of tube settings. So you're taking skills you already have, the tube setting, the claw setting, piercing, but you're putting it together in this beautiful construction. And the greeny blue one is a flat version, which we'd recommend doing first. And the purpley pink one is a domed version, so very similar, but working a bit with doming as well. So just a really lovely piece to have made by the end of the year to showcase some of the things that you can do. Then we move on to week 8, which is filigree for jewelers. So filigree is the art of using usually twisted metal and creating beautiful little patterns and designs inside a larger frame. There are different types of filigree. We have an incredible tutor for this course, Michelle Lier. She is an expert in filigree. She's actually based in the US, in the States, and she came over to film this course with us, and she filmed a couple of courses with us. So this is a wonderful way to learn this technique and explore working with the wire, lots of solder joins in these pieces, good torch control, all of those things, and creating your own design from the filigree. Then you have a couple of weeks at the end of the year to do your final project. We'll be talking about this before then, so you'll know and you could have ordered your materials and things. So you'll be making 3 pieces in a cohesive collection. And we encourage you to kind of pick a technique or something that you learned on the course to focus around and create this kind of almost like your signature style collection. Now that you've learned these techniques, what is it that you want to be able to make with them. And again, your mentors will support you throughout the course of the year with getting to the end for that. Then another workshop week, so there's lots of making time at the end to make those final projects before you get your final pieces off to us. So you send your pieces to us each term, so we get them 3 times a year. We give you full information on how to package up your pieces and get them to us safely. It's a lot easier than it seems, and we have people again from all over the world who come and send their pieces, and it works really well. In terms of how the marking works, we have a set of criteria for every piece that you make. So for example, if you're making these earrings on this in front of us here, we might say, okay, there's 5 different things we need to look at. We're going to have a look at the solder joins. We're going to have a look at the composition of the setting, that it's central. We're going to have a look at the design of the overall piece. We're going to look at the settings and how neat they are. And finally, we're going to look at the finish and polish on the piece, for example. And you might get a mark out of 5 for each. So when your mentor goes through and marks, they'll say, okay, solder joints, is it 5 out of 5? Is it 4 out of 5? Did they struggle a bit and it's not been cleaned up? Is it 3 out of 5? So it's just a really structured way of giving that feedback. And sort of then they may also put some notes and say, this is what you could do to kind of improve it for next time. And yeah, the kind of all the mentors get together and we have standardization meetings to make sure that we're all marking at the same level. If anyone's not sure, they can always check in. So we have a whole team of people working behind the scenes on making sure that it works really well as a curriculum. And then you'll have that Zoom one-to-one where your mentor will talk through, okay, this is what went well with this piece, and this is the things that you could improve on. So you're getting that feedback loop, which is really important for developing and learning and moving things on to the next level. I think especially if you're mostly self-taught and learning online, having somebody else who's a bit further along the journey than you saying, actually, this is the way to do it, is just so helpful, really, really essential to that kind of growth that we're looking for. But if you have any questions about the marking, let us know. It is there to encourage you, to support you, never to make you feel nervous or to say you've not done something well. We're very much about, positive reinforcement and just keep learning and keep doing the next thing. And as I mentioned, you'll send your work in each term for that one-to-one feedback with the mentor. We've already talked a lot about who the diploma's for, but just a reminder, it's that kind of intermediate level jewelers really looking to upskill to the next level. And when people are thinking about joining a course like this, the first thing I say is, like, if you want to do it, just go for it. Don't worry about whether you're good enough or not. I think we always have to take that leap. Of course, it's important to make sure you've got the fundamental skills in place so that, the things that we've already covered, you don't get caught out on. But if you think, okay, I can do those things and I want to do the program, like, just go for it. We would absolutely love to have you. And the other thing I ask is, would you like to train as a fine jeweler? Is that one of your goals? Because that's really what this program is about. And how would it help you and your business? So I think learning how to train as a fine jeweler is so helpful for a jewelry business, because you can take on more work, you can take on higher paid work with higher profit margins. So from a business perspective, it's kind of a no-brainer for me. The course fees have stayed the same for many years, and we are quite proud about that. It might not be forever, but the course fee is $2,978 for the full year of Diploma, with your mentor, with all the additional support, the Facebook groups, the lifetime access. So they are brilliant value for money, which could be under a payment plan, £167 monthly. The material fee is just over £1,000. That does include all of your silver and your gold. And you guys will probably know the price of silver and gold. It's very expensive at the moment. So you will get, you'll get your money's worth within that. And that is everything you need to make the projects throughout the year. You may want to buy additional materials for your final project, but obviously there's lots of time to plan for that. And if you don't want to, there will be kind of bits left over, because we often give extras. So the total for everything, course and materials, is just over £4,000. And you can split it up if you need to. So the 18-month payment plan is still open. And this is the course installments is 167 a month for 18 months. Or if you'd like to do the course and materials kit on the 18-month payment plan, it's 226 per month. So the 18-month payment plan, if you start it now, will be finished before the end of the program. So you'll be all paid up and done. And the last time to join the payment plan is the 7th of March next year. So after that point, it will go to a 12-month payment plan, and obviously it will be higher each month. So we like to try and spread it as much as possible. And a lot of jewelers set themselves the goal of paying for the course with the jewelry they make, and this is totally achievable, you know. So if you think, okay, every month I need to make 226 for my course of materials, how many pieces of jewelry do I need to sell to make that? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 3? And how can I motivate myself around that? So if money is an issue in terms of signing up for the program, I would encourage you to think a little bit entrepreneurially about how you might be able to fund it with jewelry, because jewelry should pay for itself. Absolutely. We also have individual payment plans for Europe, and also the USA and Canada. If you head on over to the website, we've listed them all. So if you are based overseas, you can start to see them. If you're in another country, it will be the same. It will just be converted. So when you go through the sort of checkout process to sign up for the course, it will automatically convert it into your currency. The website will at that point. So if in doubt, you can always put in the pounds and just Google like what's the difference, and you should be able to see it in there. There are limited spaces on the program, mostly down to the mentor team. So we only have so many mentors that teach at this level, and we only give the mentors so many students. So if you want to join, I would definitely encourage you to sign up as early as possible. And again, order the tools, order the materials, get everything ready so that come September, you are more than ready to go. If you're interested, you can go ahead and enroll on the link. Anna Campbell has put it in the chat. And yeah, take a little look. Or if you feel like you'd like to join, but you'd really like to speak to someone first, you can book a discovery call with us. So that is on the same page. If you scroll down, you'll be able to find a spot where you can book a discovery call. Anna has also posted it in the chat now. Thank you, Anna. So this is with Tori Foster. Tori actually was a student on the course and then became part of the Jewelers Academy team afterwards, and now she kind of supports other people who are thinking of joining. So she is a brilliant person to learn from, because she literally knows what it's like. She's been through the whole journey. So do have a chat with Tori if you'd like to. She's super friendly. And yeah, we always love hearing from you. There are some of our previous diploma students in my house where we filmed lots of jewelry making stuff together, and Anna, of course. But we love getting messages from you guys. So, if you're listening and thinking that's not quite right, maybe there's something else they can help me with, just get in touch. We're always here to kind of support. I just wanted to, while we wrap up, show you some of the students' work from previous years. So these are some final projects that people have made. So here, really beautiful stone settings. We've got a ring, a pair of earrings. It's kind of beautiful designs in silver, some K and Boo. Then these are some beautiful pieces as well. Lovely lighthouse pendant, lots of texture and detail, kind of swivel pendant that twists round. The marquise, using the marquise kind of design to create a piece as well, and some beautiful earrings you can see in the background. And then some really decorative pieces. This is like a swallow bracelet, kind of lots of curled wire, tube settings, beautiful swallows, a little bit of texture on the pieces as well. If anybody is still here, I'll get on to the questions that were in the chat. Just bear with me 1 second. There we go. Okay, question. Perry asked, would a Dremel be sufficient, or would we likely need to upgrade to a Fordham pendant or similar? Yes, so I would definitely recommend upgrading to a Fordham. Yeah, because we're doing a lot more detailed work on this program. And again, if you're going to be making these kind of pieces for clients, Dremel's a great starting point because you can kind of do so much with them, the drilling, the polishing, all of that. But as you get into finer pieces and you need better control, I would definitely recommend upgrading to a Fordham. I know it can seem like a kind of big step at the beginning, but once once you've done it, you might have your Fordham for 10, 20 years or more. So they really are a worthwhile investment. And yeah, just for everything you do, it's going to make it a lot easier. Also, if you are going to get the hammer hand piece, which we do recommend for the collet setting, you generally can't have a hammer hand piece with a Dremel, so you would need to upgrade to the Fordham for that. But you have time. That's the good news. To save up, and it is worth it for sure. Anna has also posted a blog which we wrote about Fordhams for this course because when we first started the course, I know it can be confusing, like which one should I get, and how do I get the hammer hand piece to attach to it, and all those kind of things. So do have a little look at that blog post as well. Brilliant. I think that was the only question. I think Anna has gone ahead and answered all of the rest already. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful Christmas if I don't see you before then. And we are excited to get involved and learn jewelry making more together. Oh, there is another question from Alex, who says, is there a discount if we are already in a silver diploma course? Yes, there is a discount for people continuing from one diploma to the next. So you'll get emailed about that. Or you can drop us an email if you'd like to know beforehand. Thank you, Genevieve, for being here. Lovely to see you. Deborah says, thank you. Fun to see the future. I have some experience would be better off starting with a diploma in silver. Thanks for providing all your coursework. Yes, absolutely. And I agree. If you're here and you're thinking, I'm not quite ready for that, but that's where I want to go. It's amazing to see the progression and what's next. And absolutely, Deborah, we would love to have you on the diploma in silver to start your journey. So brilliant. Thank you, Anna, so much for being here. Oh, sorry, another question. Genevieve says, how many spots are available? We don't have a strict number at the moment, but what we do is ask all the mentors how much space they're able to give us for the following year, look at the students, and we just try and match it as closely as possible. But sometimes, especially towards the end of kind of bookings, we just have to cut it off and say, okay, everyone's full now. But there are spots for now. I would say, if you're thinking of joining, try and join by March next year. Then you should be fine. I mean, if you know you want to do it, we have students who've joined already, which is brilliant because then they're just set and they're ready to go. But I would say, if you've joined by March next year, there should be spaces for sure. Brilliant. All right, lovely to see you guys. Yeah, have a wonderful Christmas. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you on a course soon. All right, take care. Bye for now.